for the recording is in progress. Thank you everybody for the honor and privilege of your time and allowing me to speak with you today. I love the theme of this conference, resilience through self-love and self-care. Often when we talk about resilience, we think about someone who's strong, navigating from situation to situation, and that strength of fighting and always working hard and persistence and not giving up. But if I asked you, to come up with your to-do list or your priority list of the things that you need to take care of, how long would it take you to list yourself as a priority? Because without yourself, you're not able to navigate through all these, situations, tasks, problems that come up. And how long would it take you to say your own name? So today I'm here to talk about a different kind of resilience and strength, the strength of softness, the strength of being kind, and overall the resilience of self-love and self-care. So today I'd like to walk you through the process of, we know that self-care, self-love is important, but why is it important? And how can we incorporate it? Because I know it can seem like a task to just add something else to our plate. So I'd like to share some tips with you of things that we can do to incorporate resilience through self-love and self-care. When I looked up what resilience means in Merriam-Webster, I got the capability of a strained body to recover its size and shape after deformation caused especially by compressive stress. That sounds severely like an inanimate object and also very much like the people in this room. We have been molded, we have been pulled, pushed through everything that we've been through, especially this year. However, this definition sounds void of emotion. This definition does not take into account the personal impact and effect of that stress on our body, on ourselves, on our community, on the people around us. And you can see the effects of it. We don't talk about the aftermath of being resilient. We don't talk about the healing that needs to occur after going through such stormy seas. So when we talk about that compressive stress, you're looking at, look at that ball that is just being pushed together. It's compounded. It's not just one thing that we're dealing with. It's not just one tough meeting. It's not one day of handling a tough schedule. It is compounded over time. And you literally see the energy of that ball being squeezed. And it's almost like it looks like it's gonna burst. Like there's no relief. How many of you have felt like that? If so, just give me like a, let me know that I'm not alone, because I know I feel like that. I had presented at MACUHO earlier in the year, and we talked about what changed with the pandemic. Not everything that we normally do during opening, but what was different because of the pandemic. And I came up with this list, and it was so overwhelming because I realized that this is just on top of our normal stress. This is our compounded stress. So things like figuring out health services and testing. How does our meetings change? How do community build virtually? Mental health concerns. How do we do online trainings? Do we have a budget? Or do we have beds? How are we going to manage our, food delivery? It's not business as usual. How many of us felt like we had to deliver the same level of care, compassion, opportunities, programming, and put that smile on your face that everything's fine, but it really wasn't, right? I'm just curious, what else has contributed to your compressed stress this past year? Along with the things that are here, I know most of us in housing have dealt with this and become pros this year. However, there are probably other things that added to your compressed stress, like first time we're thinking about elder care, childcare. We're not only dealing with a health pandemic, but there's also a racial pandemic, perhaps job security, longer hours, not having time off, or maybe you have the time off, but you're not using it, personal safety, lack of work-life balance. When was it scary to go to the grocery store? I know some of us were sitting there wiping and Lysoling the fruit, and I think I still do that, just cleaning all the stuff that the groceries that come back, making sure you have a mask, things like that, just things that we're not thinking about usually. All these different aspects of stress do compound, compress, and add to the overall effect on your body. So when I was thinking about that capability of a strained body to, to recover from size and shape by this compressed stress, I thought about that, a rubber band. And all of us are sitting there elastic like this rubber band. We have this fantastic capability to be flexible, stretch, we can bounce back. And overall, that rubber band is resilient. It is strong. It is you. So I agree, Amanda. I was scared to go. I didn't go to get my McNuggets for a long time because we didn't know what was safe and what wasn't safe. And those thoughts and that anxiety definitely affects all of us. So I have an easy quiz to test how resilient you are. Are you resilient or are you not? Okay. So basically, if you are here, you are resilient, period. If you are reading this, if you are here, realize you have survived thus far. It has been an unprecedented year, right? There is no need to thrive or live your best life or any of that. The fact that you are here, the fact that you took the time for yourself to be here, the fact that you have survived this year, you're doing great. If you're doing the best you can, you are doing great. You have waded through uncertainty. You have not only one pandemic, but two pandemics. We're talking about a racial pandemic. We're talking about race-based traumatic stress. We're talking about health pandemic. On top of that, you are all now Zoom masters or WebEx masters, even if we still might talk while we're muted. Your boss might have been your dean of students, but your boss might be your 5-year-old child at home right now, and that's okay. You've managed that. And also, I think some of you are the best epidemiologists and public health experts that I know, because you're sitting there reading the CDC guidelines, translating it to your community and making it fun with, pictures and gifs and whatever we can do. But you did that. I see you. I see the work you've done. I am proud of you. The fact that we're here is just amazing in itself. You can give this presentation, not me. And that's the beauty of resilience, is that it just sometimes takes a mirror to see what you've done, what you've accomplished, and that there is so much to be proud of, and that there is so much strength, even if you might not think that it's there, or you might look for it in other places. Okay. For time, I'm going to move forward, but I can share this with you later. This stress, though, that we interact with, that resilience, it affects your brain. It affects your body. It affects your community. And this talks about how that compounded stress over and over can even affect your DNA. So realize that it's important for us to analyze it. How much time do we have? I'm going to play a minute of it because it's nice.
Are you sleeping restlessly, feeling irritable or moody, forgetting little things, and feeling overwhelmed and isolated? Don't worry, we've all been there. You're probably just stressed out. Stress isn't always a bad thing. It can be handy for a burst of extra energy and focus, like when you're playing a competitive sport or have to speak in public. But when it's continuous, the kind most of us face day in and day out, it actually begins to change your brain. Chronic stress, like being overworked or having arguments at home, can affect brain size, its structure, and how it functions, right down to the level of your genes. Stress begins with something called the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, a series of interactions between endocrine glands in the brain and on the kidney, which controls your body's reaction to stress. When your brain detects a stressful situation, your HPA axis is instantly activated and releases a hormone called cortisol, which primes your body for instant action. But high levels of cortisol over long periods of time wreak havoc on your brain. For example, chronic stress increases the activity level and number of neural connections in the amygdala, your brain's fear center. And as levels of cortisol rise, electric signals in your hippocampus, the part of the brain associated with learning, memories, and stress control, deteriorate. The hippocampus also inhibits the activity of the HPA axis, so when it weakens, so does your ability to control your stress. That's not all, though. Cortisol can literally cause your brain to shrink in size. Too much of it results in the loss of synaptic connections between neurons and the shrinking of your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates behaviors like concentration, decision-making, judgment, and social interaction. It also leads to fewer new brain cells being made in the hippocampus. This means chronic stress might make it harder for you to learn and remember things, and also set the stage for more serious mental problems like depression and eventually Alzheimer's disease.
Now, I didn't mean to scare you or take you onto a biology lesson, I promise. However, it's important for us to realize that this is what's happening to us. This is what's happening to our bodies, our mind, and sometimes it helps to understand, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. This is happening in real life. This is affecting you. And realize that it's not normal. We have started to normalize this feeling of being so stressed, and that's not okay. I'm here to talk about resistance over time. And this is something we see with our students a lot when they deal with a tough phase in their semester, maybe around finals time. But if we're looking at housing, let's talk about closing or opening some of, those very stressful times. So let's talk about December closing and January opening. It's almost as if good health means, we've got our daily tasks. So we're meandering through, and then we have that alarm stage. Oh no, we have to open the building. Oh no, we have to get everything ready. Oh gosh, where's the budget? Oh no, where's my staff? Where are the trash bins? Things like that, right? Where's my staff? Where's my sanity? But we hunker down, resistance stage. You work longer hours, you get things done, you finish the schedule, you reach out to who you need to reach out to. We got this. So if we're thinking about for a student, this is maybe around the time where the student is studying for finals and they're taking all their snacks with them and they're hoarding them and they look slightly crazed, but they've got this, just like we've got this. And what happens is that we pull off a great opening, we're exhausted, but then we finally get to rest, right? And then you once again go back to good health, and then you do it again. This year has been different because it's been one thing after another, after another, after another. So we are cycling through stages 2 and 3 repeatedly, with every mandate change, with every new quarantine case, with every new system that we need to unfurl. So that resistance and exhaustion change over and over and over again, that is what's causing stress. That is also our resilience, but that's also, causing stress on our body. So how do you practice self-care and self-love when you are stretched thin? What is something that you can do? If we talk about what are the components of self-love and self-care, it comes down to realize that wellness has 8 dimensions, and all the stress that we've talked about will affect all 8 of those dimensions. So emotionally, you might feel like you're tapped to cope. Financially, you might be thinking about things that are just different this year. Am I job secure? Do I feel safe? Do I have enough money? Socially, is it safe to visit my family and friends? But realize that using Maslow's theory of needs, that if you do not take care of your shelter, your food, your sleep, then you will not be able to be your best self. You will never reach your full potential. So that is why it is important to take care of yourself, which answers the question, why do you need to take care of yourself? Why do we need to? Because either you will lose your elasticity, right, of that rubber band. That rubber band can only stretch so much before it either smacks you in the face, or it snaps, right? Or it breaks, or it loses that elasticity, and it's harder to get back together. So make sure that you give your body a break or the time that it needs. Otherwise, it will make time for you. How many times have you been stressed and you're okay, then all of a sudden your back is thrown out? You knew the signs and symptoms, or you knew you need to drink water, but now you have a headache because you weren't hydrating or you were stressed. Or my phone does it. If I don't give it a break, it'll just turn off. So realize that if our electronics can do that, it also happens to you too. When we're thinking about health, and if you want to address self-care and self-love, realize that health is holistic. Health doesn't mean, oh, I'm not sick, I don't have COVID, I'm okay. No, health is more than that. Health is Are you eating nutritious meals? Is your mind healthy? Is your body well? Are you connected spiritually? Or do you feel well overall? So realize that it takes many different aspects of wellness. Now, I wanted to leave you with, what do I do with that information? Because I know it can feel like a chore. I don't have time to take care of myself. There's too much going on. So I wanted to leave you with, just do two things, 2 steps to resilience with self-care and self-love. The first is listen, and the second is respond. You are experts as well. Like I had said, you are experts for your body. I cannot tell you one general thing that you need to drink 3 cups of water a day and you need to work up. Everybody's different. So listen to what your mind, body, your community is telling you and respond accordingly. How do we apply that? So if we were to apply that physically, listen, how many of you here have shoulder tension? I can see all of you right now that it's like this. I'm going to tell you right now, lower your shoulders, relax your face. I've been trying to go to sleep like this. And I'm like, why can't I go to sleep? Because I'm not realizing how stressed I am. I've spoken to dentists recently, and they have patients coming in with jaw pain, teeth pain, cracked teeth. This is because we're so stressed that we're grinding, that we're clenching, which is also causing headaches, migraines. Some people are gaining weight. Some people are losing weight. Are we taking care of our nutrition? Some people have tight muscles, headaches, things like that. So how do you respond? Do you need to get a massage? Do you need to relax your muscles? Like I said, lower your shoulders, relax your face, be mindful and cognizant about what your body's doing. I saw somebody take a deep breath. Yes, thank you. Eat nutritious food. Are you cooking for yourself? That's a form of self-care and self-love as well. Increase movement, hydrate. Or are you moving too much and you need to not move? So realize things change based on what your body is telling you physically. So listen and respond. If we were to apply this mentally, are you sleeping too much or are you sleeping too little? Are you having trouble going to sleep? Do you have brain fog? No, you're not just dumb. You're overworked. Are you having anxiety? Are you procrastinating? Is it hard for you to start a new task or project? So how do you respond to that? Meditation, mindfulness, prioritizing your tasks, making sure you're at the top of your priority list, talking it out with somebody, and perhaps some accountability. Do you need a friend or somebody that's in this room right now to help hold you accountable? Do you need to prioritize your tasks? Do you need to talk to a friend, a family member, or utilize other resources? Coloring is amazing, Janai. Absolutely. That's definitely a good one. Emotionally, now what do you do? Listen, are you more irritable? Something that maybe would not make you snap, is it making you snap now? Are you having sensory overload because we weren't around so many people before and now you're seeing more groups of people out? Is that making you feel nervous? Or do you feel withdrawn and you just need to not, you're feeling withdrawn and you just need boundaries? Or are you craving interaction and you need connection? So what do you do to respond to that? Especially if you're feeling irritable or you're snapping, do you feel like people don't understand you? Do you need to perhaps explain how you're feeling or share what your needs are or ask for help? For sensory overload, take a break. If you're feeling withdrawn, perhaps setting boundaries. I just need some alone time. I just need 15 minutes to take a walk. Or I need to schedule time in between my meetings so I can recoup and prepare so I have my best self moving forward. If you're craving interaction, scheduling meetings, whether it's with friends, whether it's a Netflix watch party, whether it's 5 to 7 p.m. tonight at this great social that we're having, it could be anything. But if you're feeling disconnected, are there other ways to reconnect with community? Ultimately, when we talk about self-care or any change that we want to make, we always talk about, oh, it's a big step, or how did you do it? And realize that a great leap is comprised of several tiny steps, little decisions, little thoughts, little changes. And sometimes you move forward and sometimes you move backwards, and that's okay. as long as every day you continue to be kind to yourself, you continue to move forward, and each day you continue to choose yourself and prioritize yourself. So my skilled sailors, you have braved many stormy seas. You're definitely very capable and strong and resilient, but we can also be exhausted from that strength and realize that not only being strong, but you might crave sweetness and softness from yourself. So therefore, self-care and self-love is definitely essential for your holistic health, for your survival. And all you have to do is listen and respond accordingly. So with self-care and self-love, you will always bounce back. And that is what I wanted to leave you with today, that you will always bounce back. Here are some resources that might help with emotional wellness, physical wellness. MyFitnessPal has been very helpful. Calm is a great app. I love ThinkUp, Aura as well. Daily yoga is great for those who are looking for some yoga. I would love if you would connect with me on Instagram, Dr. Komal Chandra. My Facebook is Komal Chandra PhD. And also my website is drkomalchandra.com. If you're interested in any presentations for your professional staff, paraprofessional staff, or one-on-one consulting, I'm available for that as well. But I wanted to leave some time for questions, if anybody has any questions or comments. And also for your expertise. So if you have anything that you have to share in terms of how you practice self-care and self-love to be resilient, I would love to hear. We saw some